He's like, I just can't control it. You can control it. You just choose not to. You're controlling it when you're on camera and the camera crews are around. I don't see you throwing a phone, throwing a laptop, throwing a table, throwing a bar stool, or throwing Brittany into the bushes. That right there, to be honest with you, I really take issue now even more so with them allowing Jax on the rest of the season, because I have to assume, since many cast members saw that ring video of him shoving her, pushing her into the rose bushes, that most likely production saw that too. In a lot of reality shows, you touch another cast member, you're out. So the fact that he wasn't immediately pulled off of that show gives me a lot of pause. I don't want to see him on Watch What Happens Live. I don't want to see him dropping off or picking up crews for anything. He should never be on the show whatsoever.
Well, she also implied too that the abuse had happened before.
Exactly.
She said,
and that she'd been covering up for him for years. And that's what happens when people are like, oh, she's not innocent and da da. Shut up. If you've never been in an abusive relationship, I want you to get back in your glass house and shut up.
We gonna stir it up and do things our way. So if you wanna move, get out of our way.
Hey.
It's Valley time, everybody. We just
Great one. Hey.
We've only got like 2 more left after this one.
Yeah. This is a 3-parter. 3-part reunion.
Thank goodness. We need it. We need it.
I mean, it is a good, in case you guys haven't figured, well, she said the Valley. I was like, we're just going to, no. I am thinking, though, just how good this reunion will be if the part 1, which we're covering today, was pretty, I mean, they dove into the divorces, which in a normal show, a mid-tier boring show, would be part 2 or part 3, save the best for last. So much went on this season that Jax and Brittany are up at the front.
Yep, I agree. I love how like immediately, well, first of all, you know, they do like the montage of people arriving and stuff like that, but there was like this flashback to 6 seasons ago on a Vanderpump Rules reunion, and it was like Andy asking, are you guys gonna get a prenup? He's like, no prenup, we're gonna be together forever. And it was like
sad. I forget they got married. I think it's because of COVID and stuff. I feel like they've been married even long. When they're like 6 years ago, I'm like, I felt like it was like 10 years ago. When they reference time, I'm like, what?
Yeah. And COVID really did create this weird, like these lost years for everybody. Because when I keep going, oh, COVID was 5 years ago, I go, really? Oh my God. Yeah. This is weird. Yeah.
Oh,
man.
I was going to say when they were young and hopeful. It's not that anything has changed or that it was better back then. It's just Brittany is a little wiser now.
I think she's a lot wiser now. Yeah, well, she's a lot more just willing. Yeah. I think there's a difference between like, well, wiser, just willing to like say the quiet thing out loud.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that. Yeah. I mean, she's on fire this episode. I was proud of her.
Me too. I was proud of Andy also for calling out Jax for not wearing his merch.
Yeah. Did you catch what he was wearing though?
Oh,
we have screenshots in the story. Yeah. Jax was wearing lifts in his sneakers. If you watch back and you get a shot of his ankle, which we put up in IG stories, make sure to follow after you subscribe. His ankles all, I was like, what is that? And I was like, oh my God, which is weird. He had lifts in his shoes. He's a tall guy and he's sitting down. Yeah. Why did he need these lifts?
Because he's an insecure man is why he needs these lifts. He's an insecure man.
So weird. It's so like his ankles warped. I was like, what's wrong? For a second, I'm like, this is live. I was almost like, are his ankles AI? You know, like when you do an AI thing and you notice like an extra toe or something? No.
Yep.
Maybe it's an ankle monitor.
He needs one. We'll get into that. you know, I will admit, Janet looks very good. I
Mhm.
think I actually think she is the best dressed in the reunion. I like her dress a
Yeah.
lot. I do think she looks very good, you know, and she was they were like, how did you lose? She's like, Pilates and Adderall. I was like, girl.
I appreciate the honesty, but I just want to point out as a pattern of Janet, everyone else is an alcoholic, but you have to forgive her if she got too drunk.
Thank you.
Everyone else, yeah, everyone else is a drug addict. But surprise, I lost 70 pounds pounding Adderall.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Adderall can make you crazy. Like
It's a stimulant, like
mhm.
a triplet. It's called like a triplicate. Like it is very tightly controlled. The prescriptions.
Yeah.
It's a stimulant. It's like diet meth essentially. And so I just mean to like say that, which is fine. Lots of people do it. I'm not,
And it's
but
very
she,
useful for people who need it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's that she watches everyone else like a hawk
Mm-hmm.
and then freely admits all the substances she enjoys.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. I think I would have liked it better if she was just like Pilates and Ozempic, and I've been like, okay, now, all right, yeah. But the Adderall, I was kind of like how very like 2012 of you, girl. Like,
it was very, yeah, it took me back to college and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Ooh, our Mariposa got a shout out right off. Andy kicked it off with Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
You are the voice of reason.
I know. And then she was even more reasonable by immediately apologizing to Janet for how she acted, yelled at her on the boat and after the boat without a but.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I think, key in the Bravo universe, period. She just apologized. There wasn't any but I'd been drinking, but I was on hormones, but I was upset about all my infertility stuff, but this, but that. No. She just apologized. She just said, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said those things.
And I, from like a PR angle, I was impressed. I was proud because what she did too, strategically, is take the wind out of Janet's sails.
Yeah.
She just killed her stash of ammo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's all. That's what, you know, Janet was waiting for her segment. Waiting. I think they call it a package in this when they get to a set of questions, a topic. Kristen, right off the bat, just took it away from her. She's going to be grasping at straws. Fingers, yeah.
And very smart of Kristen. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we talked about this a little bit last week because, you know, I'd seen the preview a little bit, which this we'd seen the preview of too, but that Jax is prolonging the divorce to Brittany because in case he needs alimony, because he was afraid that he would get fired from the show, which he did, which we all know now. But of course, then he was like, I didn't really say that. It was because of the podcast feed. And I was just like, you just lie. You just lie about everything. So I don't really understand how anybody can believe anything that comes out of that man's mouth. Lies just flow. It's like oxygen to this man.
Do you remember? He proved our point because as soon as he made that announcement that he was stepping away from the show, we here at PCP stepped in and broke it down. You can check social media exactly why he was fired, and he's lying. And here in this reunion, he's talking about he's worried about being fired. He needs the money. It's his job. He just confirmed that they fired him.
Yep. They fired him and they let him have the housewives exit that he wanted. There you go. Yep.
What else is there from here? We do get a lot of Jesse and Michelle.
Lots of Jesse and Michelle. And I watched it twice. I watched it this morning first and like took notes, and then I watched it again. I had time on my lunch break, and I was like, okay, let's just watch it again. And I there was actually so much. There was so much I caught like the second time too, watching it. Was like, okay, because Andy asks her, was there like a tipping point? And she was like, no, it just was like this constant, like, you know, this constant, it was just a buildup of stuff, of her never feeling good enough and him like constantly coming down on her. And I was like, you know what? And that rang true for me. And I don't know if it rings true for any other women who like listen to the podcast or watch the show. Sometimes in a relationship, it is just going bad. And there's not something where like, he never hit you, he didn't cheat on you, none of that, but you just know it's just going bad. And you just can't put up with it. And somehow like, but you know that if you leave him, he's going to make you look bad. And that's a really tough space to like be in, because on the other foot though, men are allowed to complain about their wives or their nagging girlfriends all the time. She nags me all the time. She's always complaining. She never wants to have sex, all this stuff. So of course I had to cheat on her, or of course I had to leave. And it's kind of okay. But that was just a feeling all of a sudden, like a realization I had. It was like, it's okay if men just leave because they're unhappy, but it's not really okay if a woman just leaves because she's unhappy.
Yeah.
And I felt that was, it was, you know, and again, I can change my mind about Michelle. And there's certain things I don't like about Michelle. But I think in this case, when it comes to Jesse, I see why she left Jesse. And I see that.
I see why she left. Like, I don't think they belong together.
No.
I don't think either's a victim.
No.
But for me, watching this, because we got like 2 segments out of it, like they would circle back. So there were times where it's like, oh, Jesse, you're a nightmare. This stuff about like weaponizing. He's like, you weaponize her too. And I'm like, to see her dying grandmother. Even, did you see Andy winced at that? He was like, oh, don't finish that.
Because that's the thing. Like, because we've said on the, which is funny. I was like, maybe he read our comments, because it was like the commenters say this, that you weaponize. Like, we've said that they both weaponize Isabella against each other, and they both weaponize. But that is very different when we're talking about a dying grandmother. Like when we're talking about Michelle's dying mother, and like seeing it, like that's no, that's not weaponization, because you were weaponizing your child against her. Like that, no. But I was just seeing himself, like, especially with a lot of the stuff with the divorce, like he's making himself like sound like a victim of his own making. Like, like, oh, poor me. And like, then he lies. He speaks about like, oh, I spoke to my attorney. Wait a minute. Aren't you representing yourself? And I was just, see how easily he lies as well. Like he just thinks like, the more I keep talking, or if I stop you to try to harp on one little thing and change the direction of the conversation, then I can quote unquote win here. And this is my thing too. Like watching the second, I was like, oh my gosh, I remember a friend of mine, actually this couple, I had been friends actually with the husband since college, and then became friends with his wife before they got married. So I've been friends with these people for like 20 years. And then all of a sudden he's leaving the marriage. He found somebody. Anyway, I'm not going to go into their whole thing, but basically they're getting divorced. And I was shocked to find out that he wasn't getting a lawyer. Like he was pulling a Jesse, like didn't want to pay for a lawyer. They tried to do mediation, all this stuff. Literally, he wasted so much money and so much time by not getting a lawyer, thinking that he could game the system, that he didn't need a lawyer, that he wasn't going to spend this money. He pissed off judges so much, he ended up losing way more than he would have lost if he had just paid for a fucking lawyer in the first place. And I feel like Jesse's going to do the same. Like, don't piss off a judge. You don't know what you're doing.
I was really, because he's a realtor, and realtors, one of their big, I see advertisements and campaigns telling you, don't sell your own house.
Right.
You don't know what you're doing.
Thank you. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same. There's a reason that lawyers go to law school. They literally give up like almost 3 years of their lives to go to, like, I have my friends who've been to law school. Like I didn't talk to them for the first 2 years of law school. Like it wasn't until their 3rd year of law school that I was like, oh, I can finally talk to you again. Like, they go through so much, and they also are so specialized. It's like being a doctor. Like I don't go to my friend who's a plastic surgeon for stuff about ear, nose, and throat stuff. Like, So it's not like he can necessarily go to Jason to talk about divorce lawyers type of things. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
Where I saw it turn, because like I said, for me it's both sides. Like, I don't think in the beginning that Jesse was very wise with his answers. It was like, oh yeah, you're revealing cards you didn't intend to.
Mm-hmm.
The wedding expense, now wants the money back that's not happening. I don't know where he got that. That was petty.
What? I mean, hello.
By the way, I want to do the math real quick. So it was 150,000. She mentioned there were 55 people. I want to go to a wedding where they spend almost 3,000 a plate. That's basically what it breaks down to.
Mm-hmm.
That's a small 55. That's a lot of. That's about almost $3,000 a plate.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. I mean,
nothing to show for it, but
they did it in Napa and all that stuff, and yeah.
Oh yeah, but where Michelle where it got me, and this is where Kristen put her foot down. It was Michelle wants. I believe what Jesse said about how she went into this season, this divorce, saying, "I have to win, I have to beat him," because I noticed where Michelle started slipping was that she was upset that he had friends. Even that, like, that was like, all your friendships are fake. I think you can be a terrible husband and partner, but you do see him as a friend. He's a better friend than he is a ex. And just like, Kristen got offended by it. I mean, when Michelle was like, he only befriended you to manipulate me, like, it became everything he does is to make me look bad. And Kristen was like, how dumb do you think I am? Like,
I think both things can be true though, because I do think that he was trying to get Kristen and Luke on his side, because I do think that he was afraid
strategic.
But I also do think Kristen is not that dumb to think that, like, all of a sudden everything's under the bridge, that Jesse's just this wonderful guy. Like, she's got her eye on Jesse. So yes. And it's not like, I think he is trying to point something at Michelle and get, somebody who maybe Michelle could have gotten back. But I don't know if Michelle had any plans of trying to rekindle a friendship with Kristen. So I think, in a sense, like, that was an easy scoop up for Jesse, to get Kristen. But I do think Kristen is smart enough to realize that, well, what?
They're both playing games with the cast.
Yes, they are.
And that's why I'm like, every time she points it out, like she's dropped a bomb. Jesse only, I hate her voice. I'm sorry, I hate it. Jesse only befriended Kristen to make me look bad. But but
people make fun of your voice and my voice all the time too.
Yeah, so I don't care.
like.
So I'm like, so yeah, no, I'm just like, you guys, that's why I said they deserve each other. They're both playing games. But when he plays a game, she's like, this is the sign of a sociopath. But when she plays a game, like, I'm like, I don't know. She's always a victim. It annoys me.
Yeah, I am giving her a pass right now, but I do reserve my right to, like, change my mind later on. I feel like, I mean, she and Aaron seem to have broken up, so, like, we'll see what happens.
Wait, can we talk about that real quick?
Oh, please.
So
let's do that.
In the opening, when Andy goes around the room and asks how everyone's doing, and Michelle says how happy she is with Aaron. And if you catch it from the side, Jax says that's a lie. And this is remember, when he comes to himself, he's an absolute liar. But sometimes when he calls people out, he's like Kristen, like crazy Kristen. He's a truth teller.
Talking about Schwartz and Sandoval cheating on their girlfriends and wives. Like, yeah, he was right. Like, also,
and she gave him a look. She looked when he said that. I was like, yeah. And now we know the answer. He wasn't lying.
Also, when they were talking to Kristen and Nia about, like, pregnancies and having the babies and stuff like that, and Andy asked Michelle if this kind of made her want to have a baby. And she was like, sometimes yes, sometimes no. And then she again said that Aaron wants a bunch. And she was like, no, yes, he wants a bunch, but I told him that's off the table. So maybe. And then Andy said something about like, do y'all want to get engaged or married? And she paused and she was like, well, that's, the goal. And it seemed very, very like more guarded than kind of normal, because she had been very effusive during the season about how she felt about him. So
Yeah, that one was interesting. I was like, yeah. Oh, that was something else they spoke about. Jesse and we missed the big thing. Jesse and Michelle over the tears and the manipulation.
Yeah.
Where
I've called it out before. I said it was crocodile tears. He's full of it. He's full of it. He does. He just turns it on.
I did like, this was another great one though, when Jason broke from Janet. Because Janet was backing Michelle. His tears are fake. You're not capable. That was something Michelle talked about, where I was like, she's that's why I'm getting where I'm going at with this, is that she's upset that people like Jesse. She's like, stop being likable. That seemed to be her argument as time went on. It was just like, that's because they like you more than me. And I'm like, well, but with the tears, and Janet was backing Michelle, and Jason spoke up out of nowhere and said, no, that was a very emotional moment for Jesse. I believe his tears were real.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the beating Jason got on the car ride home?
How dare you contradict me? Jesse Lally. My gosh.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, because first I thought Jason was, I had to re-listen to it, because I was like, I assumed Jason was backing whoever his wife I was like, oh no, poor guy. No. He's about to chop off the finger he got the ring tattooed on.
No, but again, for me, this just brings up shades of like Katie and Schwartz. Like they everybody thought, like, everybody loved Schwartz and he was so lovable and he's so sweet. I'm not saying that like Schwartz is necessarily anything in my mind like Jesse Lally. I think Jesse's like much more manipulative and everything like that. But it's just that everybody loved Schwartz and everybody thought Katie was an asshole. Yeah. And it turns out that like Katie was complaining about stuff that was real and that was really going on. So that's why I give Michelle this like, for the word I hate, grace. I give her this latitude, at least for right now, until she's out of this, until she's divorced, or maybe till we see next season. I'm just giving her like a little bit of time because of that.
Maybe that's a good comparison. And maybe this is because by the way, I think Jesse and Michelle, I always say, deserved each other. I think they're unhappy and neither one of them is an angel in this. But that is the best, because where Michelle, I think I'm getting, is because she had said earlier in the season, and I give her grace or whatever, a pass for like her mother dying and stuff, like him withholding the kid. I was like, yeah, no. But she had said earlier in the season, where it's like, my sympathy, everyone cares about Brittany, not me. And I would say the Michelle and Jesse marriage is like the Katie and Schwartz, or divorce is like the Katie and Schwartz. And I think Michelle thought it would be a bigger deal. Yeah. But then came Jax of all. Brittany and Jax's divorce is first seat. Yeah. I'm saying, so I think she feels like her story is getting buried and people don't care as much. Maybe that's where I'm just trying to figure out, get inside her head. But yeah,
I think that's very possible. Absolutely.
Because you have two competing divorces and one's kind of low energy, and then the other one is jacked up on coke. So.
Yep. Well, let's talk about Jax of all. I do want to go back, like, there was, because when they were talking about the pregnancy stuff with Nia and Kristen, then Andy asked Danny if he was going to get a vasectomy, and he was like, let's do, who else wants to get a vasectomy with me? And Jax was like, I'll get a vasectomy. And Brittany was like, Jax will have 20 baby mamas if he doesn't have a vasectomy. And then they asked him, like, do you use birth control? And he seemed to not know what birth control was. For a 45-year-old, 45, like, didn't know what birth control was. Somebody was like, condoms or birth control. And you could just tell he's that guy who's like, I don't like condoms. I don't like the way they feel. He's that guy. And then he tried to slut shame Brittany by saying oh, well, like, you go over to her house and there's condoms everywhere. She's like, at least I use condoms. Everybody was like, I don't think there was anybody else besides Jax who was like, at least she uses condoms, dude. Like, that's gross.
He literally, I put in my note, he keeps trying to slut shame Brittany for everything he does.
Yeah. Also, like, the whole thing with Julian, he keeps saying, she's my best friend. And like, but as Andy points out, there's also this was a guy who dated Lala. And I go, if Lala didn't have a problem with Brittany sleeping with Julian, I don't think that you should have a problem with Brittany sleeping with Julian. Like, if they're Eskimo sisters, then you shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah.
Being Eskimo brothers. Come on. It's like,
it's like you said, it's the control, if he can't have her,
nobody else can. I mean, it's completely obvious. We are seeing, I do worry for Brittany. I do worry for Brittany about her safety, to be honest with you, because you see a man spiraling. Is that thing of like, when certain men are on the last rung, what are they doing? Like, they tend to try to take the whole ladder down with them.
That thing she mentioned where he digs through her trash.
Yeah.
That creeped me out.
Yeah. That after they had a wonderful Easter together, and then the next day he comes over, is digging through her trash and trying to make a fight out of nothing. Like, that is, and he even says, he's like, I just don't like it. He's like, I know it's wrong. She should be able to be with whoever, but that's just you talk. I was like, and he's like, I don't want Brittany talking to any man. Says he gets triggered. And I was like, he's like, I just can't control it. Excuse me, sir. You can control it. You just choose not to, because you control it when you're on that set right now and they're talking about it. You're controlling your anger. I don't see you, but I don't see you beating anybody up there. You're controlling it when you're on camera and the camera crews are around. I don't see you throwing a phone, throwing a laptop, throwing a table, throwing a bar stool, or throwing Brittany into the bushes. That right there was shocking to hear that. And to be honest with you, I really take issue now even more so with them allowing Jax on the rest of the season, because I'm going to assume this is, and we know what assumptions do, but I am going to assume that since many cast members saw that ring video of him pushing her into the rose bushes, that most likely production saw that too, that she had to show Bravo and 32 Flavors that in order to help get him into rehab.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he did mention that he only went to rehab. He implied that they pushed him into it. He did. He said, my job was on the line. I didn't want to go.
So the fact that like in a lot of reality shows, you touch another cast member, you're out. You're immediately kicked out, especially on a house show or anything like that. If there's any type of physical violence against another cast member, you are immediately pulled from that show. So the fact that like he wasn't immediately pulled off of that show gives me a lot of pause. I'm glad they did fire him eventually, but I'm still a bit upset he was allowed to film the rest of the season. And I really hope that we never, ever, ever see him again on any other show. I don't want to see him on Watch What Happens Live. I don't want to see him dropping off or picking up crews for anything. He should never be on the show whatsoever again. And I rarely put draw a line in the sand with a cast member. Like some people are like, I never want to see Janet. I totally want to see Janet again. Like, I don't care. I'll see Sheena. Fine. I'll see Sheena. I'll see Lala. Who gives a shit?
We're probably going to.
Oh yeah, exactly. Look, if they want to show Stassi, whatever. I mean, I don't love it, but whatever. But like, this is like a level of like absolutely effing not. Do not give this man a platform to be on and to get paid and to continue to abuse this woman anymore. And I don't want to hear anybody in the comments saying that Brittany is not a good person, that she does. Shut up. Nobody deserves to be abused. Absolutely not. I don't care. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I just like really put it down. But I'm like, oh, what? But it's true. It's just like it's just no.
Well, she also implied too that the abuse had happened before.
Exactly.
She said,
and that she'd been covering up for him for years, and that's what happens. That's what happens. And so that's, again, when people are like, oh, she's not innocent and da da. Shut up. Like, if you've never been in an abusive relationship, I want you to shut your effing mouth right now. Like, don't get back in your glass house and shut up.
Yeah.
I can dislike Brittany for other things, but I'm not gonna come down on her for how she handled herself in her abusive marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never gonna like come down on any person, whether male or female, for how they handled and tried to survive an abusive relationship, because you're trying to survive, and that's the whole point. So, yeah. Anyway,
what else was there?
Oh, the boys chat. That's just gross. I could have dealt with never ever hearing again about the boys chat.
Yeah, it's also weird. These people are like, I mean, the boys chat, they're like all married fathers.
Yeah.
Well, into the just calling it the boys chat. I get it. It's like, oh, there's a boys room and a girls room. It was like, yeah, it's weird.
I'm sorry. Also, like the pictures that they're showing, isn't that what online porn is for? I'm sorry, that's what Pornhub is for, right? Come on.
Yeah.
That's just gross. I mean, it's another example of how disgusting like Jax is as a person.
Yeah. Where did they say it began? At Schwartz's wedding?
Mm-hmm.
Is that where it was?
And he was trying to make it all innocent, like, we're all in these different cabins, we just need to talk to each other. But then it came out, it was like, no, it's like pictures of strippers' genitals. Zach was like, I was out. He was like, no. Like,
and Danny got kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and what else? Danny got kicked out. Jesse and Jax were in it. And Brittany revealed that Jax actually hated Jesse the whole time.
Right.
Now they seem to be that's a strategic friendship. I don't think that's Jesse befriending Jax for his benefit, because if there's one person more hated, it's Jax. That's a step down. But I think Jax needs people on his side, so he's like having Jesse over and trying to be, because he needs backup. He has no one. But even Jesse, though, during the season, he wasn't very supportive of Jax.
I feel like Jesse played a good game with Jax and keeping Jax just close enough, but like also keeping him far enough away. Like because he would give, and we said this before, like he was actually giving Jax good advice. Good advice I wish he would take at times. Granted, there's times that we're like, we can give it, but we can't take it. Like, he would give him good advice, and I felt like he was actually a pretty good friend to Jax, but he also did seem to kind of be able to keep his distance of like, this person is unsafe to be around.
Speaking this little situation, I just remembered, and I'm like, it's a tale of two evils. Although let's not compare Janet to Jax. I mean, but Jax did get a whack at Janet where I was like, yes. And that is when they're in break having their makeup touched up and stuff. And Jack says to Janet, I know you live in the Reddit comments.
Oh yeah.
Unlike you, he's like, I'm a pro. I've been doing this for 10 years. But he calls her out and says, you live in the comments. I was like, yeah, we know it. We know it because we've been talking all season about how she's crafted herself based on which I guess they're going to get to. I think this whole cast listens to PCP.
I think they do too.
They call her out about how she's trying to mold herself after Stassi and Sheena and all these people. And he talks about how, like Sheena, she lives in the comments and behaves on camera based on what she thinks social media will say. That was fun.
Which is ironic because it's funny because Jax doesn't do that, but he also like will look at the comments and he'll block people, which by the way, we've been blocked by Jax.
Yes,
we got our badge.
I am so proud. I can't believe it took this long.
So long.
But yeah, Jax has blocked Pretty Corrupt podcast.
I really hope it was me calling him a gold digger. That was the nail in the coffin. Me calling him a gold digger. I was like, I really hope that was it.
I hope listening to us is why he won't get his security deposit back on his rental, because I'm just picturing fists flying through walls, not towards anyone, just him smashing furniture in his own place.
Yep. Destroy your own shit, dude. Destroy your own shit.
It's an honor. There's even like a long-standing Twitter account called Blocked by Jax.
Yes.
I mean, it's a true...
It is. It's a true... I can't believe it's taken us this long, but it finally happened. It finally happened. Oh my gosh, dude. Well, I mean, speaking about being blocked by Jax, because Jax talks about how he's trying to almost blame like his downfall on COVID, on being fired from Vanderpump Rules, and then COVID and everything like that. And I was like, really, dude? Like it's that whole like hyper masculine stuff of like, how is I going to provide for my family? Like, it's COVID. I've lost my job. But she's like, I was making money. Like, we're a team. Like, that's what I thought marriage was. And he's like, yeah, but da da da. And she's like, oh. And it's very interesting. Like, he keeps everything Brittany says. You could see the way that he diminishes her. Like, you can just imagine what it would be like off camera in their relationship, because like when he was like when she was like, I lost my sparkle, which I'm sure can get annoying to hear at times and stuff like that.
It's a little Lisa Frank.
Yeah.
A little My Little Pony.
Exactly. And she's been saying it since last year. She's like, get my sparkle back, but he rolls his eyes and he says, and he's like, enough with the sparkle. But then she's like, what do you do? He's like, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything bad about you. No, you're just diminishing her. You're just making fun of her. And you're just saying that her feelings right now are not valid. And that's what you do all the time. And another thing he said was that when he's trying to like almost grovel to Andy, it felt like, about his job, he was like, and I had to watch this like 5 times to be able to write it down. He was like, I'm sorry about all of this, to be honest. This is not how I wanted. The last thing I wanted anybody to see is how this all got. I couldn't control it. Oh, the last thing you wanted anybody to see. Yeah. To see. Not the last thing you wanted, to be, or the way act or anything like that. You just didn't want anybody to see how you were acting, to know how you were behind closed doors.
Yeah. There's a lot of begging throughout this like segment from him. Of course, we open with, where he talks about how the hardest thing on him was losing his job and then his son, but he said his job first.
Yep.
But then, I mean, we're getting, a few of them. And when he's talking to Brittany about losing his job and that's what caused it, he's really talking to Andy, and it creeped me out because it almost felt like him threatening Andy. Not basically, this is all that's keeping me sane. If you fire me, her
And that's
her
another
whatever happens
tactic.
to her is your fault.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, and that's another tactic of a manipulator and an abuser, is that like,
Mhm.
if anything happens to me or this person, it's your fault, because
Yeah.
I can't control myself, Andy. I can't control myself, Brittany. Yes, you can. I mentioned this book, I think either episode 1 or episode 2. It's called Why Does He Do That by Lundy Bancroft. It's about abusive men, and it's very eye-opening. I feel like everybody should read it. And it's just like, it's about how they really, like, this is, yes, I believe him when he says he has anger issues. That is the main thing. Like, he's a drug and alcohol addict. I believe he is on steroids, but he is an abuser. And there's really, honestly, no fixing that.
Yeah, he blames everything else.
Yeah. Everything
I believe
else,
the
everybody
steroids
else.
too.
Yeah.
That was a quick, because I was trying to, he admitted on there he had gained 35 pounds since. And he looked it. I have to say, he looked a little,
Swole.
yeah, a little puffy, which could, and so I was, before she brought up the steroids, I had other ideas, which could be he's still drinking, because that can make you kind of puffy or chubby. Then I was like, also, if he, but on a positive note, I was like, maybe he really did quit Coke, because when you quit it, Coke keeps your weight off. You don't eat, you have no appetite. And when people quit it, it all comes back and then some. So I was like, has he really quit? But then when she brought up steroids, I was like, oh, she knows him better than all of us. I'm going with the steroids.
I'd actually thought that maybe he was on steroids while watching the after show, when they switched up their interviews, and he was wearing that, like, that darker short sleeve shirt, and so then you could really see his arms, and I was like, because he looks bigger, like his face, everything's bigger, especially like
His
when
neck is bigger, his face is bigger.
everything's bigger. But like when they showed his arms, I was like, those are really big. I was like, they're not Liver King big, but they're pretty fucking big. I was like, this is, and yeah, with the mood swing like that, yeah, that could be steroids. I mean, but I also just think it's like, it's almost like Jenga. It's just like one on top of the other. Like these are just, there's still a crappy foundation for him, you know? So yeah, I just like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, but I mean, I wish she could test him for steroids. But
Yeah, I was wondering about that. And also, maybe they can't. I don't know how it works. I know when you get a drug test, this isn't me joking. I don't know. I haven't had it done, but like it's happened to my friends and stuff. They order a panel, which means they test for certain things. And so, because when he offered, my thinking is someone like Jax is not going to offer it up unless he knows all the technicalities. She's like, oh wait, they can't test for steroids. Here, Brittany, please test me. I insist you test me. He would never offer it up unless he knew they can't catch him.
Exactly.
So maybe they can't test for steroids that way.
I have a question. What did you think about them, like, talking about, I'm going to ask you this, but talking about his sexual prowess? Like,
what did she say? I remember that. Watch What Happens Live. She was like, yeah.
I mean, I was just like, well, I feel like it was like fivefold in a way. Like, if you've got Coke and whiskey dick, it's not going to be that great. Also, if you're cheating, then a lot of times you're not sleeping with your significant other. Like, you don't have the energy, and you're not doing it. Like, fourth, also, like, when you get married, I find this is just me. Well, I've never been married, but sometimes, like, when you get into a relationship, your sex life changes. And also, sometimes a lot of men, like, they're very like experimental and exciting at the beginning of a relationship, but then once they quote unquote gotcha, they kind of get lazy. Like, like, they're like, I already got her, so I don't have to try as hard. So, like,
I was waiting for that to send him over the edge. I mean, you've now taken his job. You've taken the house, everything, and then to go after him there. I was waiting because the whole time I was waiting for him to crack. He's a simmering
Oh yeah.
volcano. I mean, everything he says is with a sigh and a deep breath. He's trying to control himself.
He's also trying to like play like sad boy, like, oh,
Mhm.
like there's times when you could just really tell he's trying to do that, but then at the same time, yeah, he's trying to keep his anger down. Like he's trying to like not
Yeah.
give in. But it was like, oh,
He'll
like,
never be Jesse Lally.
Jesse Lawley's smarter than him, except for when it comes to not getting a divorce attorney. That's
Yeah.
where I go, Jesse, you have now disappointed in me. I thought you were smarter than that.
Yeah, the whole argument for realtors is like you're going to save 2% and get a lot less, do all the work, just hand it over to the professionals. I don't know.
Well, but going back to this is something that we've bounced around so much, but that's the way this reunion has been too.
Yeah.
Was going back to, is Jesse broke? Because Michelle is saying that she's like, how can you afford that the house? Like, who's lending you the money? And Michelle said that she was paying 2 rents because she tried living downstairs in the place because he was not going to let her out of the lease on their house. And then she couldn't take it anymore. So she moved out. She got her own place. And so she literally was paying rent on 2 different places.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Oh my God.
This is where I would like to know what their not early, like their leading up to their marriage was like. How impulsive was it?
Yeah.
I feel like these were 2 people who were dating who just like they had no financial system worked out. It's like, oh, we both work, we could pay the bills that are in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no planning for saving, no plan. They just, as long as they could afford it in the moment, they were just, and that's mostly probably him with the wines and the trips. But I mean, for 2 people, as a realtor, you're being trusted with most people. What for most clients is their biggest asset, the biggest thing they own in life. And these people are just like, they had no, it's financial chaos.
Well, I mean, also, when you're a realtor, you're 100% commission. So you're a 1099. You don't have any taxes coming out of that. So you have to set aside for taxes. So I do kind of wonder if maybe it's like you get this huge, $30,000 check, $100,000 check, and you didn't put any money away for taxes. You didn't pay your estimated taxes, during the year. And so then you get really hit. You didn't spend the money to get a good accountant. Because if you're a realtor, you should have a good accountant to be able to do that and to figure out ways to set yourself up so that you're taxed less. Because that's a huge chunk. And so I just kind of wonder if he was very flippant, if he was like, oh, well, the next commission I'll put aside to cover taxes instead of just taking that money out of every commission instead. And I get that. I was in sales before too, where a lot of my money came out of commissions. And if you don't get ahead of it, you get behind very, very quickly. Yeah. And I could really see him doing that. And honestly, I could see her doing that too, because if she's new in the business and she's following his lead, she could have gotten behind as well too.
And she also, so he spent crazy. She kind of quit, or it became when she had Isabella. And I feel like there was no conversation between the 2 of them and how they're going to pay their bills.
Yeah.
When they were married, I mean, when they were together. Yeah. And okay, it was just like, you want that $10,000 purse? I think I have a $10,000 commission coming in. Boom, right. Boom. That's what I mean. There was no communication financially or otherwise, but their finances really stress me out as someone who covets.
Yeah. And I think, and right now is a really terrible time to be poor and going through a divorce and work in a
Yeah.
commission only job structure. Like, that's the real estate market in Los Angeles is not terrible, but it's not what it was. Like, he's not selling luxury real estate like he was doing, 5 years ago before the pandemic or during the pandemic even.
Right. And he targets high-end real
Mhm.
estate too. It's not a house in the valley. He wants a house in Bel Air. I mean, those are tougher sells, but they have the mansion tax and people are just
Yeah.
not as liquid right now. That's the word. So this show, I guess, it's another thing. There are two realtors who didn't buy a home, who didn't own a home. They never discuss who's going to, I don't know. It just boggles my mind.
It really does.
I hate to say it, this is where Bethany Frankel and Vicky Gunvalson would sit them down, be like,
I don't
financial
know.
literacy.
I don't know if Bethany Frankel is the person to talk to anymore about finances, though. Now,
What happened? Is she broke? Please tell me. Wait,
word on the street is that she's broke.
Stop it. Stop this. How did I not know?
That's the word. That's the word on the street. Is that that she's blown through.
I mean, I could see it. I mean,
she seems to have made some really bad real estate investments, and also that divorce of hers that took almost a decade.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know.
The fact that she shoves her success in your face so hard kind of tells you. Just I know my gold standard. You don't see Kathy on Housewives being like, I have this, no, but Bethany is in your face. And also something I noticed, because she moved down to Miami, it's a nice condo, but it's nothing like what she used to live in New York or Connecticut or the Hamptons. It's kind of like an Acura or like a Lexus of a condo, and she was living in Rolls Royces before. So
I mean, and look, and Jill Zarin is at least in Palm Beach, right?
Boca. Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I mean, look, I would take, I can't believe I'm going to say, I'd usually rather walk on my lips than give Vicky Gunvalson any credit, but I would rather take financial advice from Vicky Gunvalson than Bethany Frankel.
I did get half a coda. No.
Oh man.
Well, so next week on the Valley, I think we're gonna get. Is Sheena coming out?
I don't.
They
think
mentioned
so.
Sheena.
I really hope there's no Sheena and no Lala coming out.
We don't need them. I wasn't asking out of hope. I did catch a mention of Sheena. Where this was in Jesse. By the way, is Sheena like in the shadows calling a lot of shots on the show? Because when they were discussing,
because she called Jesse's girlfriend.
Yeah, and said, no one's going to like you if you come on the show with him. And I'm like, are you like Vanderpumping it, like LVPing it, where you tell people what to do on a show? Except she's not on it. I'm afraid we should just take bets, but I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of.
Oh no.
She.
No, Sheena's definitely gonna be on, showing us what she only wants to show us of her life.
Yeah.
Right. Nah.
She lives in, I think, Sherman Oaks is where she moves. So she's planted herself right in.
Yeah. She made that move. And you guys can make some moves too. You know how?
Yeah, just move your little mouse or your finger on your screen and just hit subscribe, Bing. Follow. Bing. And we here live like Jesse and Michelle, episode to episode. We don't know.
Oh my gosh. No, I cannot live like that,
Yeah, no,
man.
they stress me out.
They do.
But yeah, that'd be a great help. Send us to your realtors, your divorce attorneys, your Reiki therapist.
Your financial planners too. Hey,
Yeah.
we'll take that because look, we are a growing podcast. We are growing every week, and we have you guys to thank for it. We really appreciate it. Actually, like every subscribe, every little comment is really helping. It's helping to help us corrupt the internet with Bravo.
And on that note, I don't know what to say. Adios.
Pay your taxes.
Yeah.